know how to do hospitality in all facets of it. I mean, they're nice to us here, not just us, just because, I mean, they're nice to everybody. Their food is top notch. I've had the wings. Let me say that. Wings, they are crispy on the outside. They're nice and juicy on the inside. You know how sometimes you go to places when they get them that crispy, sometimes it's burnt. This food is phenomenal. Dave Mitchell over here coming to the set. You had what? I mean, you had, let him get his headphones on, and I think he had the chicken wrap. What do you have, Dave?
I had the Asian chicken wrap.
Asian chicken wrap.
Super bomb.
Super
good.
bomb. All right, you know what? Hey, we are, if you want to call in, you can dial 916-633-4851. And if you want to ask a question, anything that we're talking about today, if you have a question for Dave Mitchell here, I want to thank one of our sponsors, Slim, right here. You know, I'm gonna just open this package here because, you know, a lot of times people ask me, do you really drink that stuff? And yes, I really drink that stuff. I've had a few of them, and I'm gonna tell you something. It's pretty good stuff. It's a bit sweet, so if you want to cut it with a little bit of lime juice, I was told Julie Travis writes. You know, all these people, you know, give me a call at the number that I gave you, or you could email me at Glenn@EpicNewsSports, and I'll get you all this information. This stuff is good, man. I use it when I go to the gym. It gives me energy. It really does. It doesn't have any of that freaky, you know, guarana extract or anything like that. It is really good stuff. And once again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We've got people from all over the world. We've got some of our biggest supporters. You know, I make fun of you guys a lot, but it's in fun, in jest. Texas, hello. Hello, Dallas. I know we got Round Rock watching. We've got San Antonio. You guys, if you want to, if you don't want to call in and you just want to text, you can text 916-633-4851. Give me a text or tweet at Epic News Sports. You can follow us on all social media, Epic News Sports, if you want to ask David Mitchell a question or anything that have to do. You know what? We're gonna kind of you know, jump right in here. We're gonna talk about many different things in sports, and again, mostly MMA. But Dave, what did you tell us? What you did last Friday? Why you got into it, and tell me about the phone call when it happened. So tell everybody what you did on that.
I was just cruising Facebook, checking out some stuff, and I seen that World Fighting Championship was looking for someone to do a jiu-jitsu match down in Vegas last weekend, and of course it was UFC 196, and I was ready to do whatever I could to get down there and get to the show, and they offered me a grappling match against Kyle Griffin, who are actually known for a long time and a really high-level grappler, a brown or black belt under Drysdale, and used to train with Dave Terrell and myself over in Santa Rosa. So I said, hey, if he wants to go, let's go. And just drove down to Vegas on that Thursday with the heater on, just to lose a little bit of weight, so I'll be right on 200 pounds. And
right.
We had a real epic 10-minute match. We watched it today. Me and Glenn did.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
and it was, you know, it was real back and forth, a lot of action, many submission attempts. It's just something that hopefully will catch on, and I'm actually gonna go to Reno next Saturday. Exciting, and then go up there, and you know, I made a good bet on Nate Diaz last weekend.
Yeah.
So hopefully I can make another good bet.
Yeah, you know, hey, we're gonna be down there. Local fighters. You know, when you get your tickets if you can from them. Don't go to Ticketmaster or anything like that, because this is an avenue to how these athletes get, you know, raise money for the
two matches, which is what I'm doing. And you can go to WFCfights.com and get your tickets, and there's a support your fighter box, and you just put my name in there, David Mitchell, and I'll get credit for those tickets, and I would get them like ASAP, because I do believe that this show will sell out. And
we got a bird
that's in your weight as a name that'll do anything. Are you doing a lot of homework on the guys that you're going against? You mentioned David Terrell out of Santa Rosa. I know that he's a real spitfire. He's probably a great training partner. Are you doing your homework on guys? Or are you just preparing all the way around for anybody that you faced at the time? You seem to pretty much have a
not to like a crazy because it's just going to be the next guy and the different new style. So mostly it's just working on improving my own game. But like you said, I've been to Brazil, I've fought all over the world and some of the very top guys, and look forward to continue to do that. Right now, it seems like this grappling thing is really on the up and up. We got a gonna give this no-gi grappling thing a shot. We're doing 10-minute, no points, no gi. It's like very real, just go 10 minutes and submission only. And yeah, I did a little studying on this next guy, Jack Montgomery, and I seen him go against Jeff Munson at Grappler's Quest. So he's fought over 30 MMA fights and also grappled some of the very best grapplers in the nation. So it's real exciting to get to step in there with a black belt and with a good guy like that. And we're just going to go and put on a great show for the fans. And we're just going to do it. So, some studying, but not, I don't like to overstudy.
Yeah, I can only imagine. A lot of people may not realize what 10 minutes straight in a ring really is against a top level competitor. Obviously, your cardio is something that you have to stay on top of. Are you for that type of a round? I mean, 10 minutes is something that's hard to get prepared for.
Yeah, it's absolutely, you've got to pace yourself or you're just going to completely burn out. So I definitely paced myself in the last match. I hadn't really had any time to prepare. I took it on like 3 days notice. Right. So I never really prepared for the 10-minute round, but we train hard. So I'm always ready for whatever battle's in front of me, whether it's 5-10 minutes. It was really cool. It's something I'd never done before to go a full 10 minutes. So
wow, impressive.
About 7 minutes in, we were really both exhausted, and I felt like I got the edge, but without getting a finish, there's no finish, so it's a draw. And hopefully, maybe me and Kyle can do it again someday.
Yeah, we were watching the video on the way up here, and I asked you at that pinnacle point. It was probably around the 6-minute mark, and you said, "Man," and you were tired a little bit, but you knew that he was exhausted, and you could tell. And so when that's going and going through your mind and whatnot, and you've got about 4 minutes left, you're tired, you want to get the submission, what do you do? I mean, do you kind of lay back a little bit, maybe for 30 seconds to get some rest, or do you just go full bore for the full 10 minutes?
Well, something that I would do in the next go is have someone in my corner giving me time, every minute. So I didn't really know how deep we were. I knew we were in deep water.
Sure.
He was super exhausted. He pretty much gassed out, and I didn't know whether he was just playing possum and was ready to jump on me, or whether I had him, and I was equally as tired. He took the fight on just a few days' notice, drove to Vegas from Sacramento, which is like an 8-hour drive with the heater on, trying to lose some weight to get to 200 pounds. So, obviously there's things I could have done better, and it's just a great thing to be able to have improvements that you can make, and you go back to the gym and you talk to your coaches. And I've been working with Dustin Akbari on my jiu-jitsu and Fabio Prado, and just hopefully just to hone the game, tighten it up, and strategize for that 10 minutes and go into it next time even better.
Hey, I gotta interject real quick, man. This burger is on point. I mean, it's juicy, it's flavorful. I mean, they get the bread local. I mean, it's a good freaking burger. So hey, I'm gonna tell you guys out there in Cyberland, get to Tailgators, have their food, man. You gotta try burger. This is just the Tailgater burger. It's unadulterated. It's just burger, tomatoes, onions, and thanks, Bill. For the burger. It is awesome, man. So, kind of moving on and talking about food. What do you do? And you mentioned that you kind of.
My weakness has got to be the ice cream, man. I love ice cream.
Ice cream, all right.
That's my go-to cheat. But other than that, I mean, who doesn't love pizza and all that? But when you know you're just going into another competition, you try to minimize the junk food and had a pretty reasonably healthy meal here with the Asian chicken wrap. Just keeping it pretty clean and
No.
you want.
So go ahead.
You want to enjoy yourself, but you also want to keep your body in shape and keep ready for the next match.
Yeah, well, I don't want to get too far. If I start asking you questions that are giving up any of your inside secrets, just tell me you're not going to answer that. Where's your head when, say, you've gone for takedowns, this guy's gone for takedowns, and you're tired? The going and initiating that takedown when you're totally wiped out and tired and taking the risk, is that something that is in your psyche to just, hey, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to shoot, I'm going to go for a throw, or I'm going to try to defend this takedown and really wear this guy down and stuff him? I know that's just two different mentalities for grapplers or wrestlers. Some guys are attack. Other guys are a little bit more defensive-minded, especially when you're tired and you're in there and every takedown counts and it's close. Where's your head at that point in the match?
I tend to be more of a defensive wrestler because I never did it in like college and stuff, so I developed a real anti-wrestling game. But I've also, since I've been in SAC, I've been with Team Alpha Male and some of the best wrestlers, Uriah Faber,
Excellent
everyone's
wrestler,
favorite, and Chad Mendez and Lance Palmer, and guys that are just really on point. So I've tried to lower my stance, get more aggressive, and when you're tired like that, you just gotta lean, you gotta push on the guy, make him carry your weight, and just keep grinding without completely blowing it, without blowing your load entirely.
Right.
So a nice medium strategy, and it's not like any secret, you just got to train for it, and you just got to work hard, and that's the secret. Eat well and have a lot of heart.
You mentioned Uriah, excellent wrestler, great wrestler out of Davis, and I'm sure he's got that low center of gravity that allows him to get down and shoot, and as well you've got the prototype that nobody wants to wrestle your body type. I mean, you're rangy, you're long, you've got the best of both worlds. You've got power and range. But I would imagine your takedown defense is something that you would be able to lean on a little bit better. And that you answered my question. Just wondering what your background was as far as the fighting, and where your mentality is as far as going for that shot. But at that point in the fight, I can imagine being defensive minded and taking advantage of a mistake or someone's fatigue would probably suit you better.
Absolutely.
So let's. I'm telling you, man, I can't stop eating this burger.
It is excellent.
It is good. It is a good burger. Let's. We're gonna bounce back and forth. We're gonna talk about a few sports and whatnot. We were on our way up here and we were talking a little bit of football because you asked me, so what's going on after football? I said, well, there are a couple of things going on still in football that I would kind of venture to talk about a little bit. One of them is RG3. He was a star at Baylor, and he was doing great. But when he got into NFL, it just didn't transfer. And I was telling you earlier today, I said, whether it's football, whether it's hockey, whether it's MLB, people in the MMA that can fight good at one level, but if they move up to another level, a higher level, do you think that they just don't transform? They're just not, for lack of better words, they're just not that good.
Yeah, I hate to say it. I don't think that it's entirely not being that good. I think a lot of it has to do with, imagine the jump from being in a college and you're at school, you're the king of that school, everyone loves you, and then all of a sudden you jump into the NFL and it's like huge media, so much pressure and stuff. So, maybe he's not good enough, or maybe he doesn't handle the pressure well. When I made the jump up to UFC, it's going from fairly easy fights to extremely difficult fights, and at the same time, like an exponential amount of pressure put on you as far as like the media. My striking, so I can definitely see that a lot of guys maybe they're better off not even going to UFC because they're just going to get worked over. So, there's so many different levels in any sport where you think some people look at me and they're like, oh my God, you're like a jiu-jitsu god or something. But then I look at someone like Dave Terrell and I'm like, I haven't even been born yet. I'm a baby. I'm a toddler. So
right.
It's just one of those things.
So, and then we're just going to talk a little bit more RG3 because he didn't really transfer in the NFL. So now he didn't do good at the Redskins. So now he's looking at the Jets. He's going to, if he does sign with the Jets, do you think there's any more gas left in RG3, or he's just too injury prone? Do you think he's going to transfer well over there?
The injury prone. I kind of call it that Grant Hill type of players, the guys that just careers they never make it to where they potentially would be because careers just continuously back to back get them. David mentioned something earlier when he was talking about what to do in adversity. It depends on who he has to turn to that sideline. Bad for him. I don't feel like he had that rapport with Shanahan or in Washington. All
right. Wow. The gremlins got into the speakers here. Wow.
Wow. They didn't like what I was saying. But if you don't have that go-to person to turn to the sideline that's going to get you back focused, get you back in the right play set, get you into a handoff and get you comfortable again, things can go horribly downhill for you real fast, And you were talking about that. I went straight from a small school straight into an NFL camp, and it was just overwhelming. You may get 2-3 reps during the course of practice, and if they don't bring it that way, you got to do something to bring attention to yourself. You see guys getting in fights. You see them doing all kind of things just to get themselves noticed because you're not. You've gone, like you said, from that guy to a nobody again, and you're trying to work yourself up, and the pressure is just, it's overwhelming. It really is, because, people associate you with a UFC, a NFL, and they associate you with already having success in that arena. And you're just trying to come in and make your way, and everybody's got a tremendous amount of pressure on you. So if he can go to a situation where they start back with him from the beginning, and he's willing to be humble enough to start soaking it again, and have that go-to guy that he can trust on the sideline when you can tune everybody else out. He's obviously shown that he has a tremendous amount of athletic ability. It's just the game has changed where you have got to be able to stand in that pocket and deliver the ball. Those guys are working too hard to get open downfield.
Yeah. But I don't think, RG3, and, Dave, how many football games did you watch last year?
I watched that, I watched a couple of games.
A couple of games. All right. Well, RG3, he's a scrambler, but again, I think that his time is up. There has to be a point in time to where even if he's injury prone, and this again, Dave, kind of translates even, we'll just say in this particular aspect, UFC. So how do you? I'm sure you've seen guys. Have you seen someone fight a fight, and then you just kind of looked at them, and after a few fights, you kind of want to tell them, hey man, it's kind of time to hang up the gloves. Have you seen someone like that?
Yeah, you see that all the time. You see guys where they're, Chuck Liddell's got to be the best example. To me, the greatest fighter of all time. Someone that I looked up to is like a hero, wanted to be like Chuck, and amazing knockout artist. And then after a while, his chin just started to deteriorate, and then he lost, 6 out of 7 fights. And, he stayed in there way too long. And maybe a different situation with someone trying to come up. And I like what you said, Marcus, about maybe if he could find the right people and get the right chemistry going, and just be on the right page. I think that a lot of times the big pressure fights for me, the ones that I did lose, I just wasn't quite right. I wasn't healthy. Had some different injuries, and maybe the pressure got to me a little bit, and I lost some of those. And but you also see people come back from places where you think that maybe they should have hung them up, and they have like a whole rebirth, and they come back even stronger. So let's, maybe we'll see that. We'll see.
Vitor Belfort, great example of a guy that reinvented himself and came back into the ring.
So we're about to go to a commercial break here. So before we do, is there anybody that you want to give a shout out to? Any sponsors? Anybody whatsoever before we go to a commercial break?
I'd just like to thank World Fighting Championship. It was really cool. Matt McGovern and putting me on the show and giving me an opportunity to go to Reno. And Also, West Coast been really great to me, and all my sponsors, Automotive USA, Meetup Sac, the list goes on and on. I got so many great sponsors, and I'm always looking for the next big thing. So we're out here in the East Bay, and I'm just excited to be out here. So who knows what's next?
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Epic Sports Radio live in Brentwood, California. We are at Tailgators. Again, we want to thank Bill for his hospitality. Lovely food, excellent atmosphere. We will be back in just a few minutes. Thank you very much. One, two, test. 1, 2, test 1. Yes. What was different?
This one wasn't turning on. It wasn't on.
You just had to rub it the right way.
Right, the speaker the speaker cord or the output.
1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1. 1. Well, we're gonna have.
Stop. Don't face those microphones towards each other, first of all. If we're not using the fourth microphone.
Yeah. He's getting ready to get on. Well, hey, whoa. Take that off.
I don't know how to do it.
Oh no, just like move it.
Got it. So over here.
So we'll go here.
Just need space from these things. You get the feedback.
We'll go here. 1, 2, test 1, 2, 1. 1, 2. 1, 2.
There it is.
All right. Hey.
You got a text or something here? I don't care about that. Okay.
Welcome back to Epic Sports Radio. We are here live at Brentwood, California at Tailgators. I am joined by David Mitchell, and you know what? I got a gentleman to my right here. This is Christian Sharkey. And Christian, I've got a few things written down here about you, but why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody, and we'll go from there.
My name is Christian Sharkey. I just had my pro debut last Saturday at Thunder Valley Casino.
Yep.
And I'm officially 1-0 as a pro MMA fighter.
All right, man. Hey, well, first off, congratulations on that. Owner of Fight Core MMA Fitness, Martinez, California. Actually, we're going to be in Martinez, California at Fight Core Gym the 18th, right, Sean? The 18th? The 18th, that's a Friday. And we're going to be doing some filming there, some kind of a documentary style, and some behind-the-scenes stuff with the MMA. We love to give you guys out there the behind-the-scenes stuff. And, again, Christian is a perfect example of an up-and-coming MMA fighter that we like to support here at Epic Sports Radio. And I keep telling you guys, I drive it into your head every single week, and I'm going to keep driving it into your head, that you need to support your local fighters. Because this gentleman right here, you're going to be watching him in the UFC. I feel that, and you know, he's 19 years old, and again, like you said, he had his pro debut at Thunder Valley, and Thunder Valley is a great atmosphere. You know, it's a cool place to go watch a fight. So, you know, it's Lincoln. It's right up 80. You can go check it out, and I would go check out. You know, all these different venues wherever you live. Whether you can get to Modesto, Stockton, or wherever. Go check these guys out. Gladiator Challenge. If you want to go check that out. Check out their website. They will list all the fights that are going on. And when's your next fight, by the way?
My next fight will be on May 21st at Gladiator
back at Gladiator Challenge. All right. So on that card, Dave Huckabee is going to be on that card. He was on the show 2 weeks ago, and 3 weeks ago. My time is just going. I think I got Alzheimer's or something. I don't know what it is. 3 weeks ago, our producer says, "Thank you, Giovanni." All right, so tell us a little bit about some of the preparation. Well, first off, how long was it before you, after you got the phone call, that you knew that you were going to be fighting at Gladiator Challenge?
6 weeks, about 5.
5,
and
6
then
weeks?
we started my camp.
All right. So you just met Dave here like 5 minutes ago. Dave, you've been in the game for a while. What would you say to Christian to give him some advice, going into his next fight? What kind of advice would you give him?
Well, obviously you want to train hard, eat good, all the normal stuff, but also just say patience. You know, you're 19 years old. I didn't even start till I was 24, so you're ahead of the game. You seem like you got a good camp with some good peeps that I know many of them and fought some of them. And, at 19 years old, just stay healthy, take care of your body, and, listen to – you obviously got good people around you, so listen to those people and don't let it go to your head. You know, it's there's so many levels in MMA, and, if you keep your nose down and keep working hard, you could go all the way to the top, and you could just as easily go the other way and get away from you. Just by making stupid mistakes or just having a little too much fun. So don't make the mistakes that I made, and just keep working hard, man. You'll do great.
All right, so, Christian, he's won 12 straight first-place jiu-jitsu tournament victories. 12 straight, that's pretty impressive, brother. And, tomorrow, check out Jiu-Jitsu by the Bay. That kind of sounds like a Tony Bennett song a little bit. Jiu-Jitsu by the Bay. 19, go check it out. Tell them where they can go, get tickets, and how can they...
Alameda High School. I'm not sure the address, but it starts at 11 o'clock.
All right. So what are you doing, as far as what you got going on for tomorrow? Obviously today you're here. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. What are you going to do between now and 11 o'clock in the morning tomorrow to prepare for this?
I'm going to eat very light because I'm on a weight cut, which kind of sucks. But
right.
and I'm just gonna hang out until then. And
All
when
right.
it comes, then I'll be ready.
So, what are you walking around right now? How much you weigh?
Right now I weigh 165.
165. Okay, so weight cuts. You've both done weight cuts. We've talked about that extensively. So when you are cutting weight, what do you do to do that? And you said basically it sucks. Why does it suck? And I mean, do you feel lightheaded after, during? I mean, what's going on there?
You still gotta lose your weight, and you can't eat anything, man. You just can't do anything.
So what are you doing for energy? I mean, Dave, what do you do when you're not eating anything for to keep your energy levels up? What can you tell this cat?
Usually when I do a weight cut, I eat like a little bit, like one egg. I'll eat like a single egg and like a little bit of coffee, whatever is your thing. That just happens to be my thing. Just so I have a little something to remind my body that everything's gonna be cool, that it's all right there, and then you just gotta go and cut the weight. I've been using the bathtub lately. The bathtub, and they call it the burrito, where you just wrap up in blankets. But it don't matter how you do it. It just sucks. You get dehydrated, your mouth gets super dry, you get hungry, you get mostly thirsty, and if you take it to too far of an extreme, it can be extremely dangerous. So I just recommend to everybody out there to conquer that weight early, and don't overdo it. Go to a weight class that's going to be reasonable, that's going to be healthy for you to do.
All right, Christian, what do you got to say about that? I mean, does it sound like pretty sound advice from David Mitchell?
Yeah, it does. That's
Kind of a rhetorical question, but I want to know what you had to say.
That's what my dad has me do for, like, in the morning. He'll have me eat one egg, and that's about it.
One egg.
Yeah.
Okay, how do you
That's
like
the
your
advice then. One egg, folks.
One egg. You heard it from David Mitchell. Hey, we had breakfast this morning, and what you had eggs.
I had 3 eggs.
You had 3 eggs.
And some bacon.
You had some bacon. So, how do you like your eggs, man?
Hard boiled.
Hard boiled. All
Just
right.
one.
Just one. Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm sure you've had them different ways. Do you think eating a hard-boiled egg kind of tricks your mind into thinking that it's fuller than maybe if you had like a scrambled egg?
I never really thought about it like that. It doesn't really matter to me, to be honest.
Okay.
Food's food.
Food's food. Right on. All right. I ask everybody this. I don't think it's too soon in your career. Do you have sponsors? If so, you want to give a shout out to them?
I'd like to give a shout out to Martinez Chiropractic. That's my only sponsor that I have, and then I always train at Fight Core, so that's my main man right there.
All right, Fight Core. Hey, you know what? I want to thank Dad over here, Sean. I appreciate it. I see you brought us a couple T-shirts. Why don't you bring one of those bad boys up? And Fight Core, again, ladies and gentlemen, in Martinez, California. Why don't we just open up one of these bad boys here and kind of show everybody, the emblem front and back. Fight Core right here. Nice design. I really like the back of it here. So now, Sean, if someone in Cyberland here gives me a text and said, hey, I love that T-shirt, how can I get one? You got a website that they can go and get one?
Yeah, they go to fightcore.com.
Fightcore.com. There you go. You can't get any more simple than that. Hey, let's talk a little bit about, I'm sure you watched the UFC fight last Saturday, and I know you did because you were down there, and you bet some money on your boy, and I saw you on, and I mentioned this at last show, I could say it because you put it on social media. So you had, a stack of hundreds there that you won. How did you just a feeling in your gut that you knew he was going to win, or what made you throw down that cash to bet on that?
Well, I train with Nate Diaz every once in a while, and the last time I was down there at Lodi at Gracie Fighter in Stockton, Lodi, California, he had said that he was interested in going up and maybe fighting at 170 or even 185 pounds. So I knew that he was looking to jump up weight classes.
Right.
So, and also, I mean, anybody that saw that last performance, that was the best Nate Diaz we'd ever seen, just super ripped and shredded and killing it. And I just felt like the wind was blowing his way. I also seen him down at El Nino's. Shout out to the Scrap Pack and El Nino Training Center down in San Francisco. My boy Gilbert Melendez. I know they're having a big opening tonight for their fight shop in San Francisco. To go check them out tonight. And And when I seen him down there, he just, he tapped me out. And I said, hey, if you could tap out David Mitchell, you could tap out Conor McGregor, and we all know his hands are solid, and he's just a bigger guy. And I felt like the odds should have been the other way, that the card was, the deck was stacked in his favor. And to me, he was a 5-1 favorite instead of a 5-1 dog. So obviously I'm going to put my money on Nate at those odds. And I just went to the sports put down $500 and, went home with $2,500. It's a beautiful thing.
Was it 25 or was it 20?
It was the Nate Diaz and Conor fight.
All right.
I was looking forward to that. I knew Nate Diaz was going to kill him, though, because nobody's ever seen Conor go into deep waters yet,
Right.
And then I knew Nate was going to take him into deep water, and then Conor was going to do something stupid and get tapped out.
All right, let me ask you this, because I played hockey, I played football, I played baseball. And back in the day when they had the Tough Man contest, way back in the day in the early 90s, I used to do that. But I didn't have the luxury of checking out my opponents, but I could during baseball, football, hockey, and all that. Now with all the technology that we have today, do you do a lot of film study? And not just on an opponent, but just film study to kind of watch how other people do things and maybe catch something on that.
I usually would. For this fight coming up, I definitely will. But I actually didn't get to see my guy until I got into the cage with him.
Oh,
Saturday,
wow. Like, literally?
Sucked. Yeah.
Really?
First time seeing him.
So I know that in the back at Thunder Valley, they, tell you the rules and everything like that. Did you at least see him back there?
I didn't know which one he was.
Oh, so it was like a complete shot.
It was tearing me apart.
Kind of like a blind date a little bit,
Yeah.
Have you ever had a blind date, David, and how'd that go?
Usually they're good, but sometimes they don't look like the pictures.
No, I guess that's why Snapchat is around, so we talked about that.
I want to see a picture with today's newspaper.
Yeah, there you go.
Full body.
There you go. All right, so who are you fighting the 21st?
They haven't given me a match yet.
Nah, all right. So I'm sure as soon as that kicks down, you're going to be doing some film study.
Yeah, it'll be posted on my Facebook.
All right, so let me ask you this. I've asked David this. I've asked every single fighter that I've ever interviewed the same question.
Right.
And I'm sure someone has told you at some point in your career, I'm sure Dad over here has told you, do not leave it in the hands of the judges. So when you step into that octagon and you're fighting and you're doing anything and hey, I got one more round left or I got a half a round left or whatever the case may be, you can't leave it in the hands of the judges. What do you do to make sure that doesn't happen?
Timing.
All right.
You gotta for the first 2 rounds that you're in and you got like 1 round left, you gotta know what he's done for those 2 rounds and what he's gonna do again.
So that's like a chess match.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let me ask you this. I'm asking you both the question. And Dave, I think I've asked you this before, but I'm going to ask it again. Is it kind of like a chess match then? Maybe the first round, you're kind of feeling each other out. You're kind of sizing the guy up. Dave, I'll let you answer first. What do you think about that? It's a chess match.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially in today's game, everyone's well conditioned. And you got to read off what they do. And, maybe that's where I came up short in my last fight, just being too aggressive and jumping in there. And, I think Conor said it really good after he lost in the press conference, that he was inefficient with his energy. So you got to be inefficient with your energy. And I feel like that's what I did do good in my last grappling match against Kyle.
Okay.
I just was super efficient with my energy, and I just kept pushing a little bit, but not pushing myself beyond my ability. And you just taking it back and forth, but definitely you want to start closing in towards the second and third round because you don't have forever, and you want to finish your fight or at least win it decidedly. So,
okay.
Yeah, it's definitely a chess match in there.
All right. Christian, what do you got to say about that?
I completely I need to know what he was doing for those first 2 rounds that he mimics every single time,
All right, so when you're in the fight, do you hear your corner? Are you actively listening? Are you kind of halfway listening to them? And how clear can you hear them?
So I've had 1 MMA fight so far, and
But Thunder Valley's a raucous place. I could understand.
Yeah.
I was gonna maybe get on that card against Rich Rieger, I think it was.
Yeah,
he was on.
Rick Rieger.
And it's just a matter. I need to get paid properly. So I don't know if I'll be out there, but it sounds like it's always sold out. It's always packed. It's always a good time. Gladiator Challenge has been around forever. My first 2 fights were for them back in 2006, believe it or not. And yeah, man, good luck with that. It's gonna be awesome.
Thank you.
All right, so well, first off, all you guys out there, we have a drink here. It's called the Epic Ground and Pound, and it has it's a local vodka. It has the pineapple juice. It has lemonade. It's got a little drizzle of hypnotic and a splash of grenadine for the blood effect. So I implore you guys to try that. I know Giovanni has tried it. He loved it. So I would ask you guys to try that out. And hey, Dave, you got a few friends here. You want to say hello to them and tell us who they are?
That's my good friends over there, Nancy and Susie.
Hello.
And they'll be down in LA to support him in his big title fight in June. And hopefully I'll be there too. Maybe I can get a fight in LA on Friday night or a tournament or something like that. We can make some things happen. So, promoters in LA, what up? Hit up your boy.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies, for coming out here. I appreciate that. And we are going to take another commercial, and we're going to fix a couple things here. And I want to thank, I'm drinking. A lot of people have texted me earlier, and they're asking me, what do you drink out of this little red thing here? This is Max Muscle, one of our sponsors. I showed this on Wednesday. It's got a little reservoir in there. I put my protein powder in there, so when I'm out and about or before the gym, after the gym, I could have a protein drink. Actually, this is just water. There's no drink in here. It's just water and slices of orange. It's good stuff. I'd like to thank Max Muscle. Everyone in the Sacramento area, corner of Madison and Fair Oaks. This guy knows his stuff as far as it comes to nutrition, and he'll hook you up. Is there any last words or parting wisdom or anything that you would like to tell all of our viewers out there?
Follow me on Instagram, radicalman_shark.
Radicalman_shark.
I'm getting right on that.
Yeah, you know what? I'm doing that too. And Epic News Sports, and follow us and chat with us, and we'll give you all the information. And again, if you want to talk to David Mitchell live on the air, give me a call at 916-633-4851. Once again, you are listening to Epic Sports Radio. I would like to thank Christian Sharkey for coming out and gracing us with his presence. Good luck tomorrow, brother, on your match, and we will be back right after these messages. Test 1 2.
Okay. See, when I bring close to you, that's when you get a problem.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Test 1 2.
Mic check. 1 2.
Test.
All right.
1 2.
Ready? Test 1 2. Test 1 2.
Turn this one down a little bit, I think.
I just. Down. Back here, and you're hearing him. That's too loud. It's too hot. So
Mic check.
1 2.
Mic test 1 2.
His is good. Test 1 2. Can't have any humming.
There we go.
1 2. Test.
Mic check.
Test.
1 2.
You can hear me a lot better? All right. It's humming. We can't have, we can't have that.
Humming's here. We know how to get rid of that. We're trying.
All right.
But so what,
It's not moving.
Yeah, she said when the table shakes. I don't
The
know.
table's not moving. No one's on the table.
Backboard.
Wait. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome back to Epic Sports Radio. We are here at Tailgators in Brentwood, California. Now, let me clarify. I did get a couple texts from people. We are in Northern California. I know there is a Brentwood in Southern California, but we are East Bay area. We are in Brentwood, Northern California. Tailgators, once again, I got to brag. For the fourth time on the hamburger, it was juicy and it was great. You know what? I could have another one. I mean, they're so good. But hey, we're going to we're going to continue on, and we're going to keep talking MMA. We're going to sprinkle in a few things, and I just want to mention, Sanchez. He's going to the Broncos from the Eagles. I don't even know why this is NFL news because neither one of these guys did anything last year. Sanchez, I couldn't tell you the last thing that he did. Again, I'm not trying to put these guys down, but the Broncos, I don't know, maybe John Elway had a few too many martinis after winning the Super Bowl, and he was still a little loopy when he signed Sanchez. But I don't think – now, if Sanchez is a backup maybe, I can go for that. But I don't know. But, David, let's talk a little bit about, what we did earlier today. So do you want to – I mean, we've already put it on social media, and we put it up on Facebook, everything like that. So do you want to break the news? Do you want me to do it? What do you want to do?
Go ahead and break the news, big guy. I'm excited. We got some big things cooking, and it's just been a lot of fun, and already day one, and we're gonna hit it out of the park.
All right. Well, you know what? The cinematographer, and one of the producers of the show, Giovanni Sovereign. I want to first off, give him a shout out and a big thank you for all the stuff that he has done behind the scenes and everything. Kind of, is adding to the glue of this. And he's my partner in this. And we signed David Mitchell to a contract this afternoon and as an entertainer because we are launching David Mitchell's career. He is expressed after life after MMA that he likes the acting realm and whatnot. But see, why wait? So we signed him to a contract, and we didn't. Some people they go, we'll get back to you in a week, 2 weeks, 6, whatever. No, we went straight out. And after we signed the contract, we threw everything up on social media, let everybody know. And then we went to an undisclosed area, and I will let you. And we started right away. He's gonna be one of the stars in the up and coming film. Hey, Giovanni, name of the film or no? So we can say it?
That's fine.
All right.
I Illuminatus swear.
I Illuminatus swear. And his character's name, it's Ether Martian Campaign. And so that's about all I can tell you about the film, because a lot of it is hush hush. What were we doing this afternoon, brother? Go ahead. Tell everybody what we were doing.
Oh, man, it was a lot of fun. We went to, like you said, an undisclosed location, and we were shooting fully automatic weapons and, just learning the weapons and prepping for to shoot some scenes and get into this movie business. So I'm really excited, looking to do some commercial gigs and get started somewhere. And I feel like that you guys believe in me.
Oh, we do, yes.
And that I believe in myself, that I could be a big star. I've done it in MMA, really brought the crowd. I'm a showman, and I've been in performing arts ever since I was a little kid. I was at dead shows when I was in diapers, and I've been around big theatrical acts ever since, and performing arts camps, and was played in Lysander and Midsummer's Night's Dream, all that stuff.
So right on.
This is just like for me the next step in my career, and I'm just super excited, and I feel like I'm teamed up with some really great people, and you and Giovanni, and I'm excited to see what's next, and ready to work hard and make some waves.
Yeah, you know what? Those automatic weapons. I know you got to shoot a couple of the rifles, and I was shooting the handgun, and we're kind of going to reverse that later on tonight when we go back out and work with the weapons again with the prop master. And Giovanni wears a lot of hats, and he's the prop master on this. But you know what? A lot of people wear a lot of hats, and they're kind of good at this, good at that, good at whatever. But everything that Giovanni does, he's great at it, man. And that is one of the reasons why I have him as a partner, is because when this guy does something, he does it with passion. He does it with love. And, it's balls to the wall, and I like that. And this is going to be a good film. We're shooting the trailer. But again, it's undisclosed places, and we can't really talk about that. But I will say... there's going to be different scenery and some extreme scenery that we're going to be involved in, but I can't really get into it. But I want to thank you for signing with us, and thank you for believing in us. And we talked even during contracts, and then on the way here, and I even asked you if you'd want to talk about it, and you said yes. So signing the contract, kind of tell us and them out there a little bit of what has happened to you in the past when you signed contract with someone else, especially in the MMA realm. Tell us what happened to you and why you lost your trust.
Well, I had some management before in MMA, and business can be shady, and especially MMA, and just kind of got the short end of the stick, and you could say. And since then, I just haven't had much trust in management, and I just struck out on my own and started doing my own thing as far as MMA, which I feel pretty comfortable in doing because I know all the promoters, I know the ins and outs of the business, all the different venues where people fight. I got a lot of different contacts and stuff. But when it comes to this, to Hollywood acting, doing stuff, I don't know anybody. I don't have any clue, and you guys really. And feel like I'm going to get a good shake, and that we're going to make some. So, I feel comfortable to sign a contract with you guys, but in the past, it's, I've been ripped off, basically, yeah. So it hurts.
Yeah, and it's turned down for you that you had no idea what was going on, and it's something that could have ended up being pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, if someone's got a fight for me, a fight offer, if there's a sponsorship opportunity, I want to hear about it. And before, I was just being kind of sheltered and almost treated like a zoo animal. Like, okay, you're gonna go here and you're gonna do that. And I don't know. I feel like I got a little bit big. Maybe that works for some people, but I feel like I have and stuff like that, and be involved in the process, basically.
Right, and that's one of the reasons why that when we sat down with you, we went through, there was 11 pages in the contract, and I read pretty much every word.
Word for word,
and allowed, I say aloud, like I'm going to allow you to do anything, but I gave you the opportunity to ask questions, and I answered them, and a lot of people that are in management or that want to promote you or whatever, they're looking, and Marcus, you can chime in on this too, in anything that has to do with sports, a lot of people, they're snakes, because all they want to do is get their quick money and leave. They've got 10, 12, 13 other people that they're representing. They don't care about you. Here at Epic Media Group, that we we would rather take a small amount of things and make it successful than to try and tackle everything and some of the situations that you've had in your career. Marcus, you've been involved in the sporting realm. I mean, why do you think that these sports agents do stuff like that?
Well, first of all, let me say congratulations.
We're gonna say why your body's hot for a second.
Now,
I was like,
what? Shape now. And, obviously we're working with an action film here. I could take that much out of what you guys were talking about. And I was having flashbacks while you guys were talking about the contract things and how I got traded in packages with other guys because it was a good thing for them because their name was something that was moving and I was there to sweeten the deal. And, it wasn't a good move for me in certain things like that. And we talked about other shows and other things that we could do. And you and I were kind of talking about the things that people don't get to tell their side of the story. There's a lot of things that go on within the sports world and within contracting of why someone's holding out or why someone is doing things, and the media may portray something that's going on or they may get a bad rap, but there's always another side of the story or things that people just don't have the platform to come out and tell their side of. And I also congratulated you. We've recently started working with you and Giovanni, and we started out on some handshake things, and you come through on everything that you said you were going to do. And that's the kind of things that someone like David or myself is going to look at when you're starting to do business with someone. Is are their actions going to follow up the things that they say? And anytime that doesn't happen, it's a red flag.
Right.
You got to start looking at people's character and looking at how consistent they are with the things that they do. And it's been a class act here all the way. So
yeah. So you know what, and on one last thing on this, if you guys want to follow what's going on, especially tonight when we get back out there and we're shooting these automatic weapons, hey, follow David Mitchell on Instagram, on Facebook, and also follow us on Facebook. You can follow my personal Facebook, Glenn Spillman, and we're going to be posting a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff and pick how they could follow you on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
I'm most active on Instagram. Mitchell MMA, super simple, super easy. Jump on there. It's probably one of the best follows in MMA. I had the inside angle on the Diaz fight, and posted a lot of good pictures and videos and fun stuff and jokes and whatever. So it should be a good follow. David Mitchell in Sacramento, and follow us, Team Alpha Male. We're doing big things. We're back on the up and up, and we're going to be the best team in the world once again. And in 2016, we've been just crushing it, and it's just more good stuff to come. And I'm really excited to work on these new projects and to branch out into Hollywood, into acting, and into jiu-jitsu. So it's just a whole exciting new world for me. And I'm very grateful for you guys for giving me the opportunity.
Yeah. So let's kind of fade back into the jiu-jitsu realm, and in that ring, and there are obviously some things in the jiu-jitsu that you can't do in the octagon. So you kind of have to not critique, but kind of formulate your the way you're going to fight when you step into that. And there was a couple times during the video where I saw them break up the fight, stand you guys back up, frustration in your face. So let's talk about the first instance where it was right around probably the 8-minute mark where you had him in a good hold, but you were on the ropes.
I guess you're not supposed to use the ropes in a jiu-jitsu match. It's like the idea is like an open mat. So they took away my advantage. So that's why I was frustrated, because when you achieve full mount, it's like having a queen in chess,
Right.
as opposed to a pawn. You know, like you're way ahead when you have mount. And so I was like, dang, why you gotta take my position away? And it's just a different game. And the ring is really cool for the visibility of cage fighting, MMA, Muay Thai, whatever's going on in there. You're gonna be able to see it better. You're gonna be able to see the ring girls better. You're gonna be able to see the fighters better, because you can just see clear through it. And so it was my first time really competing in a cage since an amateur smoker I had in 2005.
Right.
So it was kind of like, whoa, this is cool. And it was like, I felt like I was in Pride or something, like I was in Japan, you know, like, and the rules were kind of like, oh, there wasn't really commissioned or anything. It was like, all right, this guy's going to call your fight, and basically anything goes. All right.
Wow, kind of like a blood sport almost.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's talk about that. When you showed up, they asked you, a few questions, like, hey, man, what's your record? And you were like, it's my first time. I don't really have one, you know?
I've done some jiu-jitsu tournaments before, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, like Gracie Open I won in 2008, 2009, something like that. And then I started getting disqualified from all these tournaments because I would do stuff that was illegal. And, like, to me, it's like, man, if you can get someone's knee all twisted up the wrong direction, that's the objective. That's not illegal. Sure. So I got frustrated and stopped competing. And then I found this avenue where they're going to let all that stuff go, and they're actually going to pay me instead of me having to pay. And I was like, let's get back into it. So I was like, dude, what is my record? And I just was like, they're like, just make something, just like say whatever. And I was like, oh, let's say 10-2. So I guess now I'm 10-2-1 with the drum.
Hey, there you go. You heard it on Epic Sports Radio. David Mitchell, 10-2, jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't aware that each phase of competition that you go into is going to have a different set of rules and the different things you have to adjust to. And getting your mind, I remember just even in high school and collegiate wrestling, getting your mind away from grabbing your own hands and clasping or being able to slam a guy or doing things like, what's the one or two of the things that if they take out of the game, you really have to keep your mind focused on not doing?
Well, obviously, when making the transition from doing MMA to jiu-jitsu, especially in a ring, in a cage where it's like the same venue and there's fighting going on and weigh-ins and all that stuff, I was like, man, I hope I don't just go out there and start winging them and start hitting the guy in the face, you know?
Striking, right?
So, like, obviously the striking was out.
Yeah.
But I've done so much grappling that I felt like, okay, I can make that adjustment. And I followed the rules pretty good. I did kind of use the ropes maybe when you're not supposed to, and they took that advantage away from me, so that was fair. But I would say that, like, man, going into that match, I thought, okay, this guy's a good competitor. I know he's good. And then I started watching his videos online, and he taps out Fitch, who's a major UFC veteran, John Fitch.
Yes, yeah.
And he tapped him out, like, guillotine choke, hella sick, just destroyed the guy, right? And I'm like, oh, my God, this dude is legit. So I was like,
Right.
that's where I got into kind of a little more defensive, really protecting my throat, make sure I didn't get leg locked or choked. So, but yeah, it was fun because he went with Dean Lister, and I watched all his videos online. He had a lot more experience in the competition that we were doing than I did. But I think that just all the competition that I've done, all the training that I've done over the years, kind of came through and paid off, because I wasn't really in the best fight shape. I hadn't really trained for that particular event, but that competitive spirit that is just inside of me, that it just comes out. And we put on a good performance and a good show, and just excited to do it again,
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick, because the names that you've already gone up against are, you've gone up against some heavy competition. Is there anybody that you see as someone that maybe it would be a good signature fight for you, somebody that would show that you're beyond that point, that's in a good standing now, maybe a good matchup for you, body type wise, record wise? Anybody that maybe you just don't particularly care for, you'd like to get in the ring with?
Obviously, there's some. I've fought in 25 times and I've never had a rematch.
Right.
So it feels like maybe it's time for a rematch. And I think that we was talking about doing it with Dave Huckabee, but the idea of going back to heavyweight is a little bit big for me. I'm not that big of a guy, and Justin Baseman's coach was just here, and I know he wanted to fight again. So if he gets past Nick Coring in a couple weeks at Global Knockout, definitely go check out that show if you guys get a chance. It's always a good show. Then that rematch would make sense. I mean, obviously, I hate to say it because the guy got so pissed at me for saying it last time, but the only rematch that makes sense is, I mean, the rematch that makes sense the most is me and Max Griffin. You know, he got fortunate, he got it early. And you know, I'd like to fight him again, but I don't really even care that much because, you know, I'm a showman. It's a sport to me. We're here to put on a show. When we go out and they play football on Sunday, right? They're there to do two things, you know, to put on a show, to compete, and to make money.
Well, it's definitely a sign if a guy's having a problem with you calling him out or calling his name.
Why did he get mad about it?
Right.
I will say this, though, man. I have personally reached out to Max Griffin on more than one occasion. When I first had you on the show, I said, hey, why don't you guys both come on the show? And I even talked to the promoter. I said, hey, will these cats be cool? I mean, I went to your press conference. I said, will they be, you know, that's fine. They go, yeah, they're professional. And but he didn't come to the show. After the fight, I gave him the courtesy, and I extended again. Hey, would you like to come on the show and talk about the fight? No, again. And but, you know, I've given him opportunities a few times, and I will kindly keep my mouth shut on why and what and my opinion.
Better man than me.
But when would you want a rematch, and in what venue? Who would you like to fight for? Meaning whether it's whatever. When would you like to see that happen? And how can we help you make that happen?
Well, I think that obviously, you know, I'm gonna go and get the championship
I'll be there.
exhibition BJJ match, followed by Muay Thai and MMA. It's gonna be an epic show. You can gamble. You can walk on the street with the booze, with the drink. You know,
Reno's a great place to fight, right?
So I'm really excited about that. And then I need to go find a couple good fights to go win a couple fights. And after that, I feel like that rematch belongs in Sacramento and it belongs in the UFC.
Thank you for
all right. What about a couple good fights? Are we thinking maybe November or maybe next year sometime?
Well, you know, I was gonna give this BJJ thing a run. You know, I had talked about doing the West Coast as soon as May, or doing the Gladiator Challenge at Thunder Valley, but I really feel like 25 professional fights later, I need to get paid something, and mostly these guys just want to give me ticket sales, and I just, you know, I want a small purse or something reasonable.
It's understandable.
I'm willing to promote the fight. I'm going to bring a crowd, so if any of you promoters out there want to actually give me some kind of cash offer, then we can talk, and I'll fight. You know, as you guys well know, I will fight any man, any day, anywhere.
And you know, I gotta say, after having him and Dave Huckaber are both two of the nicest guys I've met in MMA.
Yeah,
you know, and it's kind of good that you guys maybe aren't in that same weight area. You know, you guys could be. And like you said, you could go a little heavy, he could go a little light. But two of the nicest guys I've met in the industry so far, and probably not the one I would want to see. I would want to see the guy that's ducking you. Yeah, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. Ducking. I said it. Okay?
Yeah. You know what? You know are they this and that and the other? And they think that all you guys are pissed off 24/7 and want to fight everybody. And I'm like, dude, they're normal people, man. And I've sat and talked to you outside of the mic, outside of the station, and we've had conversations. You're a cool dude, just like Marcus said. And what do you have to say to people that think that you guys are just some kind of conquistador that just wants to conquer everybody? In the ring, yes, but outside in the real world,
you'd be surprised. Most MMA fighters that you're gonna meet are really friendly people and like gentle giants and cool people, almost like a big mastiff or something. You know, like dog looks kind of scary, but they're like big teddy bears, super fun and friendly.
And they've got to look at what it is. It's an art form. It really is. Although that it started out as a defensive form, and from a defensive mindset, it wasn't something that was designed to attack other people. You know, and mixed martial arts is just that. It's an art form. And a lot of people with a lot of different techniques that share those techniques, and it's a world within it that takes a high level of intelligence as well. It's not like you can just be some barbarian who anger does not help you win a fight.
You won't get far trying to bully your way through MMA. And when it comes to, some guys, they just kind of have an abrasive personality, and I think just Max kind of tends to be one of those guys. I'm actually friends with him now, and I don't really have anything against him, but it's just like listening to him talk sometimes is like someone's rubbing sandpaper on your face.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier today. So I'll tell you what, Max, if you're watching the show, or maybe you hear the broadcast when it goes on the archive, why don't you come sit down and we will have a chat with David Mitchell here, and let's set something up in the future. So give my man David Mitchell here a rematch, and let's get this thing going. I noticed a couple ladies in the crowd over here that have been to a couple of our Sacramento shows at Buns. Thank you for coming out. And hey, I mentioned this earlier. I would try the drink, the Epic Ground and Pound. So go check that out. Hey, did you guys try it? Did you like it? Are you drinking it now? All right. So you really like it, huh? All right. That's awesome. So so you got Reno next weekend, and so I like to keep promoting this as the show, and I keep saying some of the same things sometimes, but I want to get in people's head that they need to give you a shout out and come and get tickets from you, and go to the match next Saturday. It's going to be at the Grand Sierra Hotel in Reno. I've been there. I've never been there for a fight. I've been there for a couple concerts. I cover a lot of concerts there, and it's a really cool hotel. They got awesome food. I mean, they've got a steakhouse there. I believe they have an Italian place, a Mexican restaurant in there as well. But it's kind of off the path in Reno. It's not like on the strip.
Kind of like its own thing.
It is. It's kind of like its own little arena.
It's got a lot of fight history, and it's got I've been there for fights way back in the day. I'm just excited to go there, and I think that this show will sell out. So go to WFC. Saturday night, we're on
this little city in town.
Yeah,
and,
I love that place.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool, man. It's gonna be an epic fight, and you are gonna get another win. We're gonna take a commercial break here in a couple minutes, but before we go, let's talk about this. And again, a lot of things correlate. Doesn't matter. We're about to talk about NHL here, but NHL is going to correlate here a little bit. So Calgary Flames, which is kind of the NHL, the Stockton Heat is the AAA affiliate to the Calgary Flames. There's a gentleman that has been suspended. He's a defenseman for the Calgary Flames, Dennis Weidman. He was suspended for 20 games. Well, they have an arbitrator, and an arbitrator in any sport goes on for the person in question, and they will argue the case. And so they were watching video, and the arbitrator argued that the hit that Weidman put on linesman Don Henderson January 27th was not, and I put in quotations, substantially supported, that he didn't show any, and in quotations again, intent. Yeah. Well, I've played hockey, and I tell you what, man, we have a whiteboard before every game, and we have a list of all the players that are playing, but most of all, we have a list of players that are injured. Okay. Now, we want to go hurt them. We don't want to injure them. We want to hurt them. We want to take them out of the game. Yeah. You got 15 guys. You got 3 lines. You got 2 minutes usually per line. So now when this guy, I could almost bet money that the coach said, hey, we want you to go take out Don Henderson. Now, maliciously, no. But to hurt him, yes. To injure him, no. Now, intent, abso-freaking-lutely. Now, when you're playing hockey, you're skating 15, 20 miles an hour, sometimes a little faster. When a guy's coming across the ice and you're coming this way, they have boards there. It's called a check. I'm going to shove you into that board. Sure. I'm going to hit you. And so I've seen the video. I think it warranted 20 game suspension. So Dave, in a lot of sports you have suspensions. Now, if someone deals out a suspension for something that is malicious, all right, say for instance, in an MMA guy gouges you with his thumb, and he did it on purpose, or he does some kind of dirty move, and he does it more than once after being warned, and say he's suspended, we'll just say for 6 months. That wears on you and nags you, and finally you just say, okay, fine. So do you think that if a fighter gets suspended for something that was malicious, not a substance, but something malicious, do you think that suspension should be held up, or do you think an arbitrator should be able to talk someone into cutting it in half?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the situation. I mean, obviously, with Nick Diaz's suspension, it was just completely unfounded, uncalled for, and just absolutely ridiculous that he would get suspended for 5 years. Wow. But I'm not too familiar with it. It doesn't seem like it happens that often. Usually in MMA, it's some weird thing far away from the cage, something domestic violence or some kind of drug thing that usually people get suspended for. Sometimes maybe unsportsmanlike behavior happens, but it seems like these days in the sport of MMA, it's a lot of Hollywood and a lot of theatrics and kind of WWF style stuff, and like Conor McGregor smacked Nate Diaz's hand, and Nate's in his face. That's just part of the game these days. So as long as it doesn't cross that line and they're not getting in fights in the street, which never happens. Like I was saying earlier, we're here to put on a show. We're here to make money. We're not here to go and get in street fights. I haven't been in one street fight in the 10 years I've been fighting. Not one street fight.
Let me ask you, because you have more of a hockey background than probably either of us up here. Now you're in a pretty, I played arena football at the end of my career, just because there's not very many opportunities to actually put on the walls. Arena, I can't imagine being on skates in there, because that would just speed it up that much more. How does a guy get such a malicious hit on you in there? You probably know you got an X on you,
Well, you do, but when you're skating down ice, even if you're skating over here, and I'm 5 feet away, and I'm coming across the ice, and we're skating up the boards, I'm going to catch up to you, and I'm going to shove you into the boards. Okay. That is a legal thing to do throughout the whole game. I could shove you into that board, push you in. Now, I can't use my stick to cross-check you. That's a penalty. But you gain the momentum. Now, if someone's coming over here, you target them, so you're waiting till the puck comes back the other way. So you're on defense now. So instead of being on defense, you skate right up to the dude. He's coming your way, and you hit him. You can hit someone from the side or behind. I've seen a guy get punched in the back of the head, fall forward, hit his face on the ice, crush his face, and he's out for a while. And that happened a few years back. But it's something that.
So how did this one go down?
It was kind of
to make it that malicious, a 20-game.
He targeted him from across the ice. The guy was I don't want to say defenseless, but when you're on the ice, you're kind of fair game. But when you are not even paying it, and you're just going for the puck, and the guy comes full bore at you and takes you out, that's malicious. But I will say this about hockey: it is the only sport that you can get in a fight and you will not get fined most of the time, and you just sit out for 5 minutes and you get to come back in and play again. I mean, you fight in basketball, they kick you out, suspend you. Football, same thing. Well, MMA, you get to fight for money. So, but we're going to come back. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the Nick Diaz situation, and we're going to kind of delve into that. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Epic Sports Radio. We are in Brentwood, Northern California at Tailgators. And if you haven't checked this place out, you need to come check it out. We will be back in about 3 minutes after these commercial breaks. Test 1, 2. All right, we're good.
Test 1, 2.
Right. If you talk into your mic.
Epic Sports
1, 2.
Radio
Test.
Worldwide.
Are we on? 3, 2, 1, go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Epic Sports. We are again live at Brentwood, California, and I do mean Northern California, Brentwood. Once again, venue, and we see all these lovely people out here eating all their great. I see a taco salad over here. This gentleman looks like he's eating. So how do you like your wings, sir? Good stuff. All right, ma'am. Good. This gentleman over here, you
grubbing on those wings.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I was talking to the owner earlier. I said, I've already promoted your burger 4 times. I'm going to promote it again, man. If you guys like burgers, I would suggest you get the burger. Everywhere I go, if they have a burger, I try it unadulterated, meaning I just say, give me a hamburger. I want a hamburger, put some cheese on it, lettuce, tomato, onions. That's all I want. And then I'll try it out. It was juicy. It was good. It was cooked to perfection. We got these 2 ladies over here. I saw them just now toss back the Epic Ground and Pound. I implore
blood and all
everybody out there to try our own personal drink here, the Epic Ground and Pound. And if you go, tell your waiter, tell the bartender, try the Epic Ground and Pound. Ladies, how was it? How many of you had? You've had 2. How many of you had 1? Well, you need to catch up with her. Yeah. Yeah. All right. You know what? We're getting ready. We started this segment last week. Partner to my left, Giovanni Sovereign, and we have a lot of people asking us, hey, how come you guys don't do hunting and fishing and this and that? So we started a small little segment that we're starting out. Peace in the Wild right now is what I'm calling it at the moment until we come up with something different. But I kind of like it. It's a hunting and fishing segment. So all you hunters and fishers out there, I tell fishermen or women out there, I go to ESPN every single day and every single night. And I watch ESPN, and I watch a lot of sports. You can go on their site right now, and you tell me, on their drop-down and on their bar, do you see on the drop-down where it says more, they do not have anything hunting, they do not have anything fishing, period. Absolutely not ESPN. But epicnewssports.com will, in the next couple of days, we do write about it and have segments, but we have such a demand for that. We're going to add that to our site. So enough about that. But you know what? The Bassmaster Elite kicks off St. John's River in Palatka, Florida on March 17th. And Giovanni, you and I have talked a lot. And Dave Mitchell, we talked earlier. And I said, hey, man, do you like hunting, fishing? He said, well, you know, I've never really been hunting. He goes, I'd love to kill something and eat it, you know? And
exactly.
But he does, he's gone fishing a few times, and he likes it's a little boring to him sometimes, but he likes doing it. But you will be surprised of the amount of, we were talking about Tiger Woods that one time where he goes out and just kind of chills out, and that's what he likes to do. While he's fishing, he's thinking about his golf game, and while he's golfing, he's thinking about fishing.
Exactly. I found that most professional sports players, when they're not fighting or when they're not on the football field or in the baseball diamond, they are thinking about fishing or hunting to decompress. That's what they do. And we were discussing last week about how fishing and hunting is really a part of an important part of American history. That's how a man would feed their family. They'd go out and hunt,
right,
and bring back the kill. So we've gotten so far away from that. Now we go to In-N-Out Burger,
right,
and they've already killed it for us, and it tastes really bland. But yeah, I'd like to get some.
Unless you get it animal style, then they then they sauce it up. So and the patties are so thin. It's about it's thinner than my phone.
It's not a patty. It's a deli sliced piece of meat, I guess.
There you go.
Slice of meat. But so we were getting into the development of our fishing and hunting segment, and I know you're calling it Peace in the Wild. I like that. When I go to Truckee and I get out there, with the giant And we people that live in the Bay Area, they don't get that. I mean, the closest they get to hunting and fishing is driving by a dead raccoon or a possum. That's the roadkill. That's as far as it gets.
We actually drove by one on the way here.
Exactly. And it's really sad because, I mean, if your connection to nature is a dead raccoon or a possum, then you really aren't spiritual. You know what I'm saying? Because we shouldn't really be killing these animals. I mean, we've invaded their homes, and it's really sad. To see all the dead squirrels, for that matter. I mean, we have invaded their domain. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but getting away from that, fishing and hunting, we want to develop that segment, and so I was planning on having somebody. Donner Lake and somebody from Tahoe as well, but I brought it up here on my cell phone. Unfortunately, we had a couple of deaths on Donner Lake last week. And I don't know what possesses people to get out on the water, when it's frozen, and in a canoe, and next thing you know, you fall in the water, and I mean, you can succumb to hypothermia in a matter of a minute or so.
Right.
What possesses somebody to do that? Tell me. Somebody have something?
There's two elements here. One is alcohol, and the other one is a little green plant called marijuana. I could probably almost guarantee it.
That's ground and pound, really.
Yeah, ground and pound, exactly.
Or if they are stupid enough to think that they could walk out there, drill a hole, and ice fish like they do in other parts of the country, which that's just freaking ludicrous. But that's in our future segments, we're going to talk about the safety. I mean, there's basic safety and basic freaking knowledge that you need to have when you go fishing or hunting. There was a guy in San Diego, a lure, and they actually have it on video. You could find it on YouTube.
Wow.
And they have it on video. But I'll tell you what. Now I play fantasy sports. Meaning, I'm getting ready to do tomorrow. Actually, is Super Sunday, and they're going to be the selection Sunday, and they're going to be picking the 68 teams for March Madness. Now, you have fantasy football, which is huge, baseball, hockey, all that, but they actually have fantasy fishing. And Giovanni, I know you like to fish, and I know you know a lot about the anglers. I would just say try it out, man. You can go to the Bassmaster.com and do the fantasy fishing. You pick out your anglers, and each tournament you see. And it's kind of fun. It makes things more interesting. But fantasy sports, it's a big thing. But
I'm open to it, but I'm not going to say I'm going to enjoy it.
You don't have to enjoy it, man. I mean, I'm open to it.
I got to get out there and cast that line out, and feel that fish hit it and set the hook. I'm not going to get that doing fantasy fishing, but I'll try it. I'll try it.
It's fun. Kind of like Dave and I were talking about when he placed the bet on Nate Diaz. He goes, it just makes it a lot more fun to watch. Now we're talking about fishing, and we're talking about safety and all that, and we're just talking about. So, what do you think is one of the most important things to do in a competition like these guys in the Bassmasters to get ready for a competition? It's not like David Mitchell when he's getting ready for a fight and he's doing the nutrition, he's doing all this kind of stuff. These guys, I mean, you could be whatever height, whatever weight is all you need to do. I mean, I know that there's a skill level involved, but what do you need to do to prepare for something like that?
It's interesting that you bring that up because if you're a fisherman, you're bending over, you're doing, repetitive stooping on your knees. So they want to have the most comfortable chair.
We're in the East Bay now.
Right, but not only exactly, but not only that though. I mean, you want to. Whether you eat or whether you've eaten or not, it's important to be hydrated, and it's important to have life. What do they call it? Life vests. You have to have life vests.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter if you've not eaten, if you don't have any water, but if you don't have any life vests, how many people have lost their lives because they go out in the water and they don't have a life vest?
Right. And that is a tragedy. And okay, Marcus, you're from Alabama.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you do or have done, and your family or whomever have done a lot of fishing. What has a family member, whether it's a dad, a grandma, a grandpa, whomever, has kind of give you a little nugget of advice when it comes to hunting or fishing?
Well, there's several things. Of course, the wildlife is a lot different there.
Yeah, it is.
The feral hog and feral pig there is something that they've really had to address because they multiply in great numbers. I know people are pretty aware of how fast they can multiply. Farm pig goes to growing tusks, growing hair, and becoming something that is a real legitimate threat
Dr.
to you.
Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
So carrying that sidearm with you as well, that you have to actually, protect yourself.
Well, you did your homework, Marcus. Having that sidearm, you never know when you might have to take out a moose or an elk or a bear. So you have that sidearm because if you're hunting out there in Tahoe, and you don't have that sidearm, you might not come home. So that is wise.
Yeah,
that is wise.
Yeah.
Hey, I
Make sure it's registered.
I will say this. I've done a lot of hunting in Alaska. I'm Native American, as I've said 100 times, and I go to a lot of these Indian reservations, and I go hunting. And they said, and this is funny, but they are being serious. I was in Denali Park, and we were hunting moose, and they said if you come across and there's a pack of whatever moose, and you are being chased by one, straight, it can't see side to side, so if you're darting out of its line of sight,
vision,
it's going to get bored and just hopefully quit chasing you. But I've been I've stood next to a moose after it was dead, but those things are freaking huge, man.
Huge.
They're
Enormous.
huge, but they're good eating. I will say that. But one of the best places to hunt deer in our own backyard, and I'm going to give these people a shout out, is right here in Napa Valley. It is the Cow Mountain Recreation Area. They've got great hunting, and you can go check out the Norris Ranch. It's got a 8 Mile Valley. They've got deep canyons there. I've actually taken the back roads several times when I leave Napa and I'm going to these wineries. I see deer. And whatnot, but Napa Valley is because when I talk to a lot of people at the vineyards, they say we have a deer problem, and they come in and they eat our grapes. And so I asked them, I said, do you guys ever just kill them? And whether it's, but you know what? I can't say whether they do, yes, or I can't rather say that they don't, and I'm not going to say who, but it does happen. And but you know what? You can contact, if you want to talk to these people, you can contact them, 707-468-4000. They will give you all the information, maps, whatnot. And but we got a couple more minutes on the show, and
you were speaking about the he pictures it a little boring. Where there's ways to spice up a lot of things that you're doing. I've been a big person.
Yeah,
my
naked
whole
fishing.
life.
That'll spice it up.
That as well.
Watch the hook though.
Well, you've got Bodega Bay out there as well. I mean, you can go out if you don't have a lot of experience and go out on a charter fishing boat.
Hey, you know what? We're getting a call from one of our callers.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Where are you calling from?
Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. All right. What is your question?
Yes, I am a big fan of David Mitchell. I think he is a beast in the ring, and I've been that opponent is basically being
David.
a really big and taking you on, or even after a match. How do you keep your cool before a match and after a match when your opponent is just being a really obnoxious person towards you?
All right. Well, hey, let's. We're gonna get a question for you. First off, say what you said again. And this is Dave Mitchell. Go ahead.
Hi, Dave.
Hello.
Hi, Dave. This is Violet. I'm here at Austin at South by Southwest, and we're catching your show. We're having like a viewing party here, and we've got some questions to ask you about your. We all love you, and we think you are a beast in the ring. And whenever you're pre-fight and after a fight, whenever you have your opponent, whenever he's being really obnoxious and bullying and just trying to egg you on, how do you keep your cool?
Well, you just got to realize at the end of the day, it's just a sport. Like I was saying earlier, we're just trying to make some money and entertain the crowd and put on a good show. And you just like pretend like you're Gore-Tex. Let that water beat up and just run right off, and then just keep being you, keep being me.
I also want to ask you about I noticed that you and I might not say this right, ghee. But there's a product that I saw you endorsing, which was GHEE ghee. I think it's called.
Yeah, that's it's a traditional clarified butter. It's called ghee. You got it correct.
Okay.
I work with a company out of Chico, and she makes my friend. She makes ghee. It's called Mama Sattva Ghee Company, and it's completely purified. Cooking. I love to just cook up some eggs and kale in it, and that's like my go-to paleo meal. And I know you guys are down there at South by Southwest. I listen to Tim Ferriss and all his podcasts, and a lot of the guys, Dave Asbury and Rob Wolf and all that. So it's kind of right up that primal paleo, bulletproof kind of genre, and it's a 5,000-year-old superfood. So check it out.
Yeah, I will definitely do that. Thank you so much for your time. And hopefully you'll make it down here to South by Southwest, or maybe we'd love to have you.
That's awesome. I actually fought in Austin a long time ago in UFC, and it's a cool city. It's a lot of fun, and I hope to make it back there.
Thank you very much.
That was awesome.
All right, yeah, Dave, you got people all the way from Austin, Texas, checking you out. That's
Very
awesome,
cool.
man. So let's we're gonna kind of finish up here. We got a few more minutes, or a couple more minutes, and we were talking earlier, and if your choice, hunting, fishing, what would you rather do, hunt or fish?
You know, I've been fishing before. My dad and my mom took me down to Belize and fished a lot down there, and in Mexico and Guatemala and all over the place, and here in California. But we were speaking about this earlier. I've never been hunting, and I just didn't grow up in a hunting culture, but it's something that I really believe in, that if you're going to eat meat every day, you should understand where it comes from and how that process works. So I say hunting, and I'm counting on you to take me.
All right. Well, hey, man, I will definitely do that. Giovanni, any last parting words for me in the show?
Yes. Since David has never been hunting, I think I might put in a call to my friends at Native Hunt at King City, just down the coast off of 1.
All right.
And they will take you bison hunting. They have bison on that preserve, Jacob's ram, and wild.
Right on.
Then I can make that happen. So we'll look into that.
All right, Dave, any parting words about anything that you want to say to these people before we cut out of here?
I'd just like to thank Tailgators. It's been awesome to come down here to the East Bay. I feel like we're breaking into a whole nother market, and a lot of good peeps. Thanks, my friends, for coming out, Susie and Nancy and Diana, and I love all you guys. Thanks for coming out and supporting the show, and come check me out next Saturday in Reno. Make a trip up to Reno. It should be a really good time. Get a room up at the Grand Sierra. Get some tickets at WFCfights.com.
All right. Thank you again for, once again, Tailgators. Thank you, everybody, for viewing. Thank you, Austin, Texas, for giving us a call. And you know what? You can catch us on social media at Epic News Sports. And thank you for coming on the show, David. And we are about to go do some more shooting of automatic.
To cast David Mitchell in a provocative multiple scenes. in my theatrical trailer sci-fictional production that will feature David Mitchell as I guess he would be a nemesis for as a member of a secretive society agent that will oppose you, Glenn Spillman, who will represent a different agent for a different agency. So yeah, we're going to be going out to Tracy at an undisclosed location to shoot some blank firing automatic weapons.
I guess I should have said that right, Blaine.
Yeah.
So
Whatever,
people
taking all the excitement out, man. I just stuck with automatic weapons. We out here steady blasting.
Right. They're theatrical props that.
but they work really well, and they're
they work-
very loud.
Yeah. And there'll be some more clips tonight, so stay tuned. We're gonna blast them out in the darkness, and you're gonna see them that muzzle blast, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, muzzle blast.
All right,
Muzzle
Bill,
blast.
if you're out there and you're still here, thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill.
for having us.
Thank you, Tailgators.
Awesome. Thank you, Tailgators. And you know what? Catch more on epicnewsports.com, our YouTube channel, Epic News Sports. Thank you very much. Peace out. We love you guys.